Hello everyone. Today we'll be deploying our Next.js app to Firebase Hosting. This is a step-by-step guide. You will be able to find the link to this guide in the description, the written version of this. So basically it shows, I have prepared this guide to show people how to deploy Next.js app to Firebase, because not a lot of people talk about that. Not like there is not a lot of content on this. I have found some documentation from Firebase, but apparently it didn't work for me. So I have prepared an actual step-by-step guide so that anyone could do and follow along on how to do this. So let's start. So first off, since this guide basically shows how to do this from ground up, let's do this. So we will need some Next.js app, and I have a few, but let's make it from ground up, like from total zero. So I open VS Code and in terminal run npx create next app, add latest, and dot in the end. So basically this creates a latest version of Next.js app. And here you can just follow along. It doesn't really matter what you choose here. If you have your own application, you can skip all those steps and go right to the second or third step. So basically, if you already have a copy of your code, you can go up to step 3. But if you don't, you can follow along. So basically, sure, when I use TypeScript, here no, Tailwind CSS, yes, no source directory, yes, a browser, and no to import alias. So it creates some boilerplate code for us. I will just wait it for a couple of seconds, and we can already go to app folder. And then page tag, let's delete everything from main. Basically, I will also delete those classes. And let's just say h1 to my first Next.js app that I will deploy. So that's it. We can also run that's right, npm run dev, and also we should delete all the styles from global CSS just so it will not look ugly. So let's run npm run dev in terminal, and of course we get a local host here. It will compile, and in a few seconds we will get this app. So it's just h1, nothing fancy, but this will work for multi-page apps as well as like one page, a single page applications. So you can just follow along what comes next. So let's say that we have our app. Of course, you will probably have something very fancier than just h1. But once again, let's go to the next step. So second step is making a copy of your app's code, because what is going to come next is that we're going to install a few packages via npm. So I would recommend you to either store your files of the app on zip on your computer, or of course you can also upload them to GitHub repo, just to have them somewhere, just to have an option to go back and have the app without those changes that we're now going to bring to it. And also, if you will later decide that, okay, I don't want to have my app hosted by Firebase, I want it, I don't know, like AWS or Vercel maybe. So you should have the clean copy of your app's code. So the next step is creating a Firebase project and web application. But first, hopefully you do understand the Firebase structure, but here it is for you. This is visualization that I have prepared for this tutorial. So basically, it's quite simple. You have your Google or Firebase account. It's the same basically, because all the Firebase projects are attached to your Google account. So under this level, you have your Firebase projects. this basically one like project, and beneath this project you have different kind of resources. So a resource, what I mean by that is, for example, web application, which we will be deploying today, is a resource. The Firestore database, cloud database, could also be a resource. And for example, they all are in one project. So for example, in one Firebase project, you can have Android app, Firestore database, and the application all at once, and they will share like one Firebase project. They will all be stored in one Firebase project. So now, hopefully that was understandable. Of course, this image will be available for anyone. This tutorial will be, but you can check the link in description to this written version of this tutorial, of course, with all the links and code. So right now, let's do this. Let's create our Firebase project first. So I go to console Firebase google.com and click create project. So here, let's just do some project test, just to test things out. I'm just showing things to you. So the next instruction tells us that we don't really want Google Analytics, but if you are deploying your actual app, you would want to enable this because it enables you to have analytics for free. But just for the sake of getting this tutorial faster, I will disable Google Analytics. So right now we're waiting for our project to be created. So once again, we're creating a project right now. So in your Google account, there will be a Firebase project, and right now we'll be deploying our web application. So we just want to wait until this happens. And the next step is creating a web application in this project. So you will be redirected to this page. Here you can just click here to web, and we'll get you this page of creating your web application. But if for some reason you don't see this button, you can also do this via project settings. So this icon, project settings, and on the very bottom, you will have this button as well. So there are multiple ways. You can also do this by here. So there are many ways to do this, but the thing is you need to choose to create web application, not Android, not iOS, but web application. Here so let's do app test. Of course, you want to have your app name here. You do check this button because we do want Firebase hosting for this app. And you also choose the project name that we have just created. So it was project test, and Firebase added some unique ID to our project name. So this is how it's called now. So we choose that, and we register an app. So basically, right now it's created, but we need to, of course, install some things to make this work. So first off, let's go back to the tutorial. So yeah, we have checked the box on Firebase hosting. So now we add Firebase to our app. So this is you can also follow this link. This is official Firebase documentation on how to do this. There is a lot of information on this, but let's just focus on the actual step-by-step tutorial because it's basically the same, but I have collected all the information for you, so it will be much easier. So first off, let's also clean this. Run npm install Firebase right now. So it will install Firebase package. And in the meantime, we also need to copy this code to our project. So basically, in app directory, you can create a file called something like firebase.js. Probably can be in TSX. I'm not sure. I haven't actually tried it yet, but you can try. So let's, for the sake of this tutorial, let's do this with .js file. I save it, of course, while this package is installing. So what will be next? So of course, this code is unique. Just so you know, this script is unique. And if you will need some additional packages, here you can see what other Firebase products you can install. but we just want to deploy our app, so we don't need anything else right now. So let's see. Okay, so it has installed. After that, here it says that you will need to export this function, but it's actually like for this tutorial, we don't have a script that needs to be exported, so you can actually ignore this. But if you like in this file, if you have some scripts, for example, you have activated Firestore, you need to export this function. But you probably will figure this out because if you use Firestore, you're probably an advanced Firebase user. But for this tutorial, we actually don't need this. But keep in mind that if you have some scripts that are used in your application, you need to export them. So next we install Firebase CLI. I just insert the script here. It installs one more package. /G stands for global. So we install this package as well. And next we will need to log in to our Firebase. So just a few seconds here. It is installing. In the meantime, you can check what steps come next. Basically, quite easy as you can see. And yeah, as you can see, we have already installed two packages. So this is why I have mentioned to make a copy of this code, of your application's code. So next we log into Firebase. As you can see, I get this error. It happens sometimes. I'm actually honestly not sure why this happens, but I have found the solution on Stack Overflow for this. You can just copy this. It basically overruns some policy, like strict policies. You do this and it will work fine. So once again, we do Firebase login and it will work just fine. So I'm already logged in with my email, with my Gmail actually, Google account. So if you're not logged in to Firebase and this is your first time doing this, you will get a link. So after running Firebase login in terminal, you will get a link that you need to control and left click. So basically, you need to follow this link and log in with your Google account. So and of course, it has to be the same Google account that your Firebase app is on. So those accounts need to be the same. So after we logged in, okay, let me see. We logged in. So since I have already done this, let's just make sure that we actually logged in and can see our project. So I have found this command, Firebase projects list, and it shows our project. So as I have shown you, I had one project previously, and this is the one that we have created for the sake of the tutorial, project/task. You can see the project's ID. And so I can identify that, yeah, indeed, I have logged in, and we can move on to step number 5, which is integrate our Next.js app with Firebase. This is once again the official documentation on how Firebase recommends doing this. So I will just copy this code. Let's run it. It basically enables, this is experimental function of Firebase. This enables easy integrations with web frameworks like Next.js. So you will see this message, enabled experiment web frameworks. Then we run a Firebase init hosting, which is kind of self-explanatory. You will see this message, and it will ask you, are you ready to proceed? We'll press yes. We are ready to proceed. And here you need to choose either you want to use an existing project for this or create a new one. So we have already created that, but of course, theoretically, you could have skipped this step and created this in terminal. But I would like to do this on Firebase just for the sake of like simplicity of this. So yeah, we choose existing project, enter. Here we choose the project that we want to use for this. We have created project test, so we choose this one. You need to wait for a couple of seconds. It will. Okay, So it says detected an existing Next.js code base in the current directory. Should we use this? Yes, we should, because this is basically what web frameworks allows us to do. It really helps us with deployment. So here we choose the server side, choose the region for server side content generation. So it's if applicable, but you should choose the server that is the closest to the user base. The user base for me, it's Europe. I mean, for this application, it's just once again for the sake of tutorial. So here, do we want automatic builds and deploys with GitHub? No, but you can of course set it up. But for the sake of this tutorial, I will not be covering this topic. So after this, so we have ran Firebase and hosting. This all the things of how do you need to answer to those questions, and then we run the final command, which is Firebase deploy, and we wait. So this is basically the longest that we'll wait in this tutorial. And after this, our app should be deployed. So it also shows a bunch of useful links for you to use. So the documentation, you can also file a bug there. So in the tutorial that I have prepared for you, there are a couple of links, including the Stack Overflow issue that basically overrides this execution policy, I think it's called. So basically, you can follow along and check out this Stack Overflow issue. And also, there are some links to Firebase tools repository, and you can also file a bug about Firebase tools if you encounter any. So basically, while we're checking on this, our app got deployed. So we check it, and as you can see, on web app, which is a Firebase domain, and we have a subdomain on this, which is our project ID. And here's our Next.js app. So that's basically it. We can also open the console of this web app. So as you can see, this is project test. And in this project test, we have app test, which is our web application. And as you can see, it shows here everything, all the data. And this is the script, which you also may want to copy again and have. So basically, this is done, like our app has been deployed. Of course, you can also later configure custom domains and all that stuff, but this is I will not be covering this in this tutorial. So our goal here is done. Our Next.js app is deployed. So hopefully this was useful for somebody. And yeah, good luck everyone with deploying your own Next.js apps, I guess. Goodbye.